kind of me rediscovering or discovering my own identity for the first time, and not the one that she gave to me, and not the one that she wanted for me.
Yeah, that's an intense story. Was there anything good? Like I want to get into the bad parts about being in the public eye when you're little, because it can destroy people. Like you see it from the sidelines. So what were the good parts? It's a long pause.
A moment of silence. The good parts were, I mean, I think it did teach me a good work ethic. I think, I don't have to be asked twice to do anything. I think I'm really self-motivated and driven. And then I made some good friends. I made some really good friends. And also, you know what? I think there's more. I think it's like what I'm doing now, writing and directing is adjacent, and I don't know what I would have done otherwise. So who's to say? But I do think that it's helpful to have, I already kind of have a somewhat of a running start on this career, because I know the industry kind of works somewhat like this, although it's very different as an actor. Because as an actor, everybody kind of babies you and treats you like, oh, they can't know anything because they're sensitive, and like nobody tells you anything. So it's sort of like it's definitely a more narrow point of view, I think, to be an actor in the entertainment industry, but it's also adjacent. I think it was helpful in terms of like switching to the career that I wanted to switch to. Yeah,
so that's fair. What about the bad parts? That sounds easier.
It certainly is. Bad parts. I mean, there's a lot of abuse that happens. I worked with an incredibly emotionally abusive producer. Even talking about it now, my face gets hot thinking of it, just because, he'd say things like, you would work at Yogurtland if you didn't work for me. And he would just scream.
How old were you?
I was, when I started the show, I was 13.
Does Yogurtland even hire people when they're 13? Is that even a reasonable thing to say?
The real questions. Thank you. Exactly. It's like, he was like a comically, like the bad teacher or whatever you would expect in like an over the top broad family comedy. That's what he seemed like, very villainous and almost like mustache twirly in his kind of personality. So there's just like, and there's abuse, which is a very on the nose bad. And then there's also, I think it leads to a sense of entitlement, where it's like, if you have so much at a young age, you think that that's reality. Like my reality when I was 13 was that everybody cared what I had to say. My reality when I was 13 was that like people were interested in me just because I was on TV, not because I had interesting things to say, not because I was saying anything of merit or value. And I think it leads, or for me, I should say, it definitely led to this idea of like, well, things will just keep working out. It's like you don't have to try as hard and formulate your own opinions and your own point of view as much, because you just think, well, if I post this picture and it gets 500,000 likes, I must be great. It's like, let's tone it down. You're not that great, sweetheart. Let's get some garner some interesting things to say.
But I mean, that's got to be difficult to understand if you have a whole bunch of people watching you or recognizing you.